Hello and welcome to episode 117 of the Spare Change Challenge on Ignition Poker. Now, I decided to go ahead and end the month early as of yesterday. I'm still going to play today, but yesterday there was some extraordinary lag. In fact, I couldn't log in all day long and I couldn't get into any cash games, and it was a problem for everybody according to 2+2. So I kind of got spooked a little bit, like, uh-oh, what's going on? Um, so I um, so I went ahead and checked my balance and actually cashed out everything, but just enough for me to keep playing these games. Like I had said I was going to do, I just kept 20 buy-ins for 100 NL on the server. And as you can see from my month, I decided to go ahead and just keep going at 100 NL for a little bit longer. The reason is I did not run that good last month, or at least the results aren't that great. I was only up about 600. And I started the month, as you can see, down over 600. That first week was miserable, if you guys remember. So we're on a little bit of an upswing since then. It's kind of normal, I think, since then. But I was still kind of disappointed. I mean, it's good to be up. I mean, up is up, right? But it wasn't the 1,500 to 2,000 that I was hoping to be up. You know, if we just ran normal the first week, we'd been up 500 or so. With 1,000 we were up. So we would have been about 1,500 if we didn't have that god-awful first week, right? So we had a ton of variance here. And actually later on in I think last week we had a ton of variance as well. I remember there was a couple days where I just ran aces, kings, over pairs, people flopping sets over and over and over again. And that was kind of this right here. And it was kind of the same thing that first week. We had a lot of variance this month, a lot more than usual. However, it was 25,000 hands, so the good news is we played through maybe some of that variance. But before we go on to what we're going to do this month, I was going to go ahead and just look at the positional stats and see if we can glean anything from it. And if you're just tuning in here on Twitch today, you can catch this on YouTube later from the beginning. I'm going to upload this right after. I said I was going to do this on Friday, and I apologize for doing it a couple days early. But I just kind of wanted to get this behind and kind of just move on. Even though we still have today left, I'm kind of just considering the month over because I don't even know if the games are going to work today. I didn't even try playing yesterday. And I couldn't play yesterday with a bad lag. So, yeah. So if you look here, everything looks pretty normal. Except I look like I'm a little bit tight maybe on the button and small blind. Slightly tight on the cutoff. Everything looks fine under the gun and position. Overall I was 25, and I know I was just trying to kind of play nitty for the month to kind of feel my way through, and that's probably what happened here. One thing that I don't think is forgivable is the aggression factor. This should not be 38.5. This should be more like 44, 45 overall. I know I took a lot more passive lines throughout the month. That's the result. And I think I'm taking too many passive lines. It's okay when you flop like a top pair and you're trying to induce on the right kind of board. Checking back some hands. Check shoving in some spots. I know that's standard stuff, and I can do more of that. But I think I should be barreling more. And I did look at my barreling stats, and they're really low. I'm not going to even look at it here because I don't even know what tab it's on. But I think it's way low. I think my c-bet was around 60%. My barrel was only about 33%. Should be around 50%. I got to look for more aggressive barreling spots. I don't think we barreled off as a bluff at all last month. You got to do that every once in a while. There's just too many juicy spots that come up not to do that. I think that's why my win rate kind of suffered. But overall, it looks bad, but it's not really that bad when you consider how bad we ran couples 5K stretches or 7K stretches, right? So I'm not really that concerned, although I do still want to work on improving, right? I gotta always be wary of getting too passive, aggressive. You know, I gotta constantly be watching my play to make sure I'm not falling into like bad habits or something. That's easy to do when you're a recreational player like I am, and when you're trying to play as many hours as I did. I think I probably overdid it with the hours. I played a lot of times when it was not optimal. The games weren't great. I should have maybe just played some sit and goes or something like I was doing in the past. When the games aren't great, just do something else, right? Still play poker, but maybe play heads up sit and goes for fun or something like that, right? So I think I pushed a little bit too much with the volume. We'll probably get 25k hands. I would have hit my goal of 25k hands if we had been able to play yesterday. I'd like. I'm not really concerned about that. We basically hit 25k. My goal was at the top 30k, but 25k I'd be okay with. We basically got there. So I'm not really worried about the volume. The volume was there. If anything, it was just too much volume. It's okay to play a great amount of volume, but playing 30 hours a week or whatever it was, and also working a full-time job that was busy last month. My day job got really busy last month. I found myself playing really tired too much. I think that's why my win rate suffered. Now, that being said, it's good to be up, right? We're now at my bankroll is at its peak. It's never been this high. Hit 38 something for our big downswing, 17 or 16. So good news is, we lost a little bit of time maybe, but variance is going to happen. But this time the variance happened and we actually up in cash games, which is good. So a little disappointed, but yeah, I'm not as disappointed as if we had been down for the month, basically just spinning our wheels. So we did run good there in the middle, and I guess it made up for it. If you look here, after the first week, I was up almost 1,100, running about 5 big blinds per 100 EV, which is not really up to the standards. But we did have, also if you remember, there was another big downswing late. So although we did play a lot of hands, it's not really a big enough sample size to realize our true win rate. So I'm guessing my true win rate might very well be between 6 and 8 big blinds, and whatever, right? Who cares? Who knows, right? All we can do is play our best anyway, so why do we even start such? But that being said, my win rate in the big blind was horrendous. I like to be at least minus 35 big blinds, and I was minus 30, 40 big blind. So usually when I'm playing my best, it's about minus 30, I think. That's a room for improvement. My button win rate is definitely low. I think that has something to do with me not barreling in position some spots that I could be, and also not opening enough hands. Cutoff can definitely improve. Cutoff should be around 22. Button, I think, should be around 30. Middle position is actually great. 22 is awesome. Very happy to stay that. Early position should be about 12 to 15. So take all that into account. That would get us up to what we're supposed to be. Small blind's fine. I mean, historically, I can be as good as minus 5 or even break even for long. But that being said, we're just going to focus this month on being more attentive, not autopiloting, because I did fall victim to that. I was playing tired a lot. I was watching YouTube videos while I was playing, kind of just playing for strong hands. I was kind of playing my cards too much, not playing poker. So we're gonna focus on getting our normal volume, and playing quality hours. And a normal week for me, if I play my normal hours, is going to be around 18 to 20 hours. If we can play 18 to 20 quality hours, between 60 and 80 quality hours next month, should see some improvement in all of this. Whether the win rate will come, I don't know. It just depends on if the cards fall our way or not. But we're definitely going to try and play better going forward. But that being said, I mean, we're almost 4,000. Our goal in the challenge is 10,000. We're going to keep grinding at it. We're not going to get discouraged. I guess that's pretty much all I needed to cover. I'll change the graph out session here, but go ahead and play some hands. Time's wasted. We're going to stay at 100 now. The account does show 3,900. However, I have cashed out 3,300. It's not cashed out as if I'm spending it. It's cashed out, set aside in my one of my bank accounts just because I feel safer doing that. That lag yesterday was really out of the ordinary, and man, I've just got this gut feeling nowadays like this is something's gonna. I mean, I'm just always afraid Black Friday could happen again. But we only want to keep just enough on the poker site to play, or less. So I think 20 buy-ins for any stake is adequate. If I dump a whole bunch, we can reload, all right? So even though my account balance will be like 600, I still have 39 set aside for poker. It's a locked box. It's not going to get spent, I promise. But yeah, so we'll have to keep that in mind going forward. So let's get some games going. We're definitely going to do more table selection this month. It might be a pain in the ass. But if we play a couple revolutions and there's really no fish on the table, we're going to leave, find another table. It's better to play 3 tables with fish than 4 tables. Well, that extra table with just regs would be breaking even. We could put more time into those 3 tables. Okay, so going forward, please show me how to money ask a question. If you don't mind me asking, what do you do for a day job that allows you to play during the middle of the day? Are you solely a coach and book salesman, or do you run some sort? I'm self-employed. I do field work. I'm in a job. I'm in the insurance game, and I meet with clients, 20, 25 times a week, but I usually get out of the house a couple days, 2 to 3 days a week doing that, and usually it's about a half day of work. Then I have office work that I usually do after my poker sessions, like between 4 and 6, I'll do the paperwork. And then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday usually is my days to be in the office, and I do a bunch of paperwork. But I have downtime. I set my own schedule. So yeah, I have the freedom from my day job, being self-employed, to just pretty much set my schedule as I wish. So I hope that answers your question. I do coaching as well, but that's very sporadic, and I don't actively, not really actively. I mean, it's on my website that you can get coaching, automaticpoker.com. But it's not like I'm advertising or trying to pay for advertisement to get students. I could do that. If I wanted to pick up 10 or 20 students, I'm sure I could and go that route. And I probably would if I was a professional poker player. Since it's just a hobby for me, I make the bulk of my money from my business. And this is just side income and just for fun and a hobby, honestly. And I like it that way, and that's the way I'm going to keep it. If it ever got lucrative enough where I was making so much money that it didn't make sense to do the business or whatever, I'd probably move on from that and just do this. And that would be like a dream for me. But I'm happy with just my lifestyle the way it is right now. And, oh, hi Diego, how are you, sir? And Diego says, I have down no limit 4, 20 time. Nice to see that. So you say you're winning 22 big blinds per 100? If that's the case, that's pretty dang awesome. There may have been some spots last month that I was trying to be too marginal with my flats. Now, like, this could be a flat here, but only if this guy is, like, I know wide, and I don't have that read yet, so I think it's better to fold a marginal spot like that. I think I was maybe being a little bit wider big blind than I should. Honestly, I maybe could be even doing some small bets in those spots. Like, for example, this would be a spot where I would want to sometimes do a bet, but I need to read where I know he's feeling fairly wide. This is his first steal table, so I know that most of the time we're going to have vacuum, but I still need, there's still sometimes, usually after about 2 revolutions, start making enough of a, start doing things like that. So we're going to focus on playing one hand at a time, talking through the hands. Sure we miss anything, we aren't just making fast plays, and all that good stuff. I think we kind of got away from that. You guys may have noticed me being a little more autopilot-y, being more safe. I guess that could be the word. I don't know. I just think I do kind of have those feelings. This is probably why when I've hit like 4 or 5K in the past, I've just cashed out and done other things and then come back and rebuilt again later. because I kind of get like, I don't know, there's just like this innate fear or something of running bad and losing what you've done so far and wasting like months or something. I gotta I gotta work on that. That's something to work on. That's kind of what this challenge is doing as well, helping me break through barriers. A minus E. Unfortunately, our queens get folded too. That's flop value here. Value on turn. You could still have some 3x hands. You could have a hand like 8, 9 that he floated with. He could just have ace high. I think this is a good check call spot. I think we'll tend to raise top pairs by the turn. Could also have a better 7, which is fine. Happens sometimes. Not often though. I mean, I think we're just there quite a bit. About that too much? Obviously fold to the shove with 5, 7, whatever we had. What did we have there? 10, 5 suited. Here. We're looking to play as many hands in position as we can with hands that flop halfway decent. Kind of the goal here. Table's not looking that great. Probably going to try and find a better after this. Turn a gut shot, so I'm probably just in barrel off mode here. A bet, turn and river, or what comes. So you could definitely have 5, 6s. I mean, it's not the best river in the world, but I think we have to bet. If he has a queen or looks us up with a 5, also, I would expect him to fold that quite often. So I mean, we couldn't have had a read where we know like a calling stake. But I think that's definitely a plus EV barrel off there, especially when we turn a gut shot and then have no. I'm gonna get off this table. Try to find a better one. I think with Jack High here we just have to bet, and with this stack size we just have to get it. Nothing fancy here. Once again, looks like a lousy table. Unfortunately, I don't think might just have to go with it. I don't really want to play when the Greggy, but whatever. At least it'll put us in some fairly interesting spots. Oh, cool. Show me how to says that's the nuts. He is in the process of getting his property and casualty license. Well, good luck with that. If you're talking about an adjuster's license, that's actually a what to get. The test is tough. Guess we're done with this table. Guy sat back in with $30. We'll play heads up with this guy because he's short stack. He's 130 over 3 hands. Why not, right? He also called us down with second pair. That's generally the type of player you want to play against. Oh, I see. Alright, well, good luck. Journey there. Downswings happen. Good about that. Guessing this guy is definitely like an fish. I gotta go table. I'm gonna continue opening a wide range even though we're playing a lot of pots. I guess we could shed hands like this. Once he 3-bets in, I'm gonna in position. I guess I could expect him to be doing this wide. So if we catch any piece of the board, I think we can profitably stack off. Normally against a tighter player, this would not be a call. Since we're in position, I think raise this. I think we float here, and if he checks, we'll bet. I think he's probably not going to have many. But have buttons. We're going to shove. I mean, if he has us, he has us. I think it's still plus EV. If he doesn't have an ace, it's going to be tough for him to call. Unless he spiked an 8 or a 7, he's probably folding there. And when he checks and bets small and then checks the turn, he almost never has an ace. Unless he has like aces or ace 5 or 5 or something. We're definitely going to call with the queen 9. We get an ISO. We're going to start doing more ISOing now. We were doing more limping behind with this type of hand last month. I think it's... We're happy just to call here. Go for some thin value here. Um, 7, 6, 7, 4. We can 3-bet this. We're going to also do more 3-betting rather than shoving. We're obviously committed if he shoves. But for value here. Shove over his limp when he only has 20 big blinds behind. And he calls us off with 7, 6, which is good. If we can win, like a 9 and 10 buy-in. Hopefully he reloads. We would play this guy all heads up all day long. Fortunately he leaves, but at least we got his buy-in before he left. That's a good thing. On another note, kind of annoyed our AC is not working upstairs. I think it's the thermostat. Little display isn't working. Got to call and need an electrician, but do those guys make their money this time? I'm gonna call him right now. Go plan B. Kind of for an AC call within. Kind of a big. Could be in the middle of his. Kind of a. We're in the cutoff technically. 11-0 over. That's me. I'd have to have. Let's bluff on every. Have our initial. was a 3. I think if he was like this guy, 30. Of a lot of rivers. This guy turned out to have king. Or fold. All the 3. All blinds. At pocket 8. Fortunately, that guy. So that's no good. Like the fish are busting pretty fast today. Our 4th. Obviously nothing here. Kind of the beauty of opening from have to have, you can have a pretty high fold bet. If you were 3xing, 4xing, probably wouldn't want to 60. But I think men 2.5x, I think you could fold 70, and I think even 80%. As long as people won't know you're doing that, and like 3 light. This guy's this is just a vacuum show. Yeah, with this guy's stats, I'm just gonna. I mean, I'm in position, but kind of irrelevant. I don't want to play. I don't want to call with this when I could profitably shove it just here. Get into our first flip of the month here. Yeah, the best. I think this 5650 guy has ace king. Take the first. Don't even. Of course, these guys are tight. Not like they're gonna extract a ton of money. Board pairs, so I think checking back here with the intent of raising some. I think I can profitably raise a lot of rivers. Have some draws. He's gonna 5x, 3x. I can't call a raise. I'm gonna rep that I have. Now, I think we just check back now. We were gonna raise if he bet, but I think we just check back now that 5. I don't think he's folding. Check folding the river. I would prefer him to bet, but bets I think we can profitably. Being a reggish type player, I think he'd be. We're just. All right, let's see if we can tables out. I think in that spot sometimes he'll have 3x. Sometimes he'll leave with a busted draw there in the river and we can call. I think that's irrelevant. I think we have to try and raise there to get off 5x or x if we had air there in the river. I think it's going to be a profitable bluff. I think it's just going to look too much like we have a 10. Low plated on the reg wolf. Often profitable. Certainly spiking a 4 if he leaves call, that's profitable. I think the rate taking it to the level. I mean, kind of irrelevant if he has a busted flush draw because he's folding anyway. We're calling, we're winning anyway. So we need to try and win the times that we're behind there. I mean, it's not out of the super realm of the possibility that we raise there and it'll have a good reg with it polarized. Maybe even or just call with a or 4. that'll happen 100%. One of those crazy spots where you could be just raising to get him off of 5, and it turns out he calls with a. There's plenty of draws, and I think this player's short stack, so I think we just bet here. We're not going to try. Probably not. Good chance he's not the aggro type. Kind of borderline shove on this. Did have a hand flush draw that he might call the shove. Play. We didn't start out this hand. We had like 30 big blinds to start the hand. I think we could play. We'll get paid off anyway. See what I mean? He spikes, he floats like a fish and calls when he spikes a 9. Pretty awesome. Whereas if we had bet small on the turn, maybe he calls and then maybe. But maybe the fact that we overbet the turn, it makes our hand look off. Definitely don't. I just profitable. We have 2 aggros behind us. And it's kind of good to have the nit star, right? But I prefer it the other. Maybe we'll leave this table and maybe try to get a bet. 30 big blind stack. Maybe we'll up with him. We're living off that today. Really good. Feel this guy out a little bit. We're focusing going forward. We can play a little more heads up in definite good spots. I think bet fold, bet spot perhaps. Maybe a check call on like a deuce spades or deuce of hearts river. I think he'll just have a naked queen. He might bluff here. I can try to give him a bluff. He had like 10x obviously, but he's probably not calling that in. Up a gut shot. I think this just might be a barrel off spot a lot of the time. What we used to do in the past. Value board where it looks like we can't. Trying to find a better. Give it a sec. I'm gonna try and rejoin. Line it up on that, which is fine. I bet to try and get it all in. I'm gonna play around. If this guy has like 5s or something, he's probably. And there's a good chance he has like king queen too, right? So sucks to. I mean, the king kind of kills our action a little bit, but I think he can still be a fish call. We're not gonna let this guy see free flops. Could also bet like a third of a stack there too. Option. We're gonna just pressure to the. Make him maybe make some mistakes, like play back us at the wrong time. For him to have anything. We had a similar board a moment ago. Bet. I think we check this one back. See what he does on the river. I think he would. Players would raise a flush draw. Not really that concerned. So he's got a. He could definitely be playing a 5 this way, but I think he could also have some bluffs like 3-4. Wow. I definitely have a bluff catcher here. I mean, he hasn't really shown any aggression yet. Yeah, I know it's only 4 hands. I mean, if he's got a bluff, it's got to be like 3-4, right? I mean, because if he had a hand like, even if he had a hand like 3-4, wouldn't he just pot it here? Why would he be trying to bluff his whole stack? People usually don't think that way. Usually when people do that, it's a makeup bet, and they're trying to get value with their 5, their boat, flush, something like that. They're kind of pissed that I checked the turn. Now they're trying to get it all, so I'm not gonna pay. And I certainly could have just been. It's hard for this guy to. It's hard for me to have an ace, but it's also hard for this guy to have an ace. I think I can set up a cheap showdown and maybe get him off a jack sometimes here. Not a thinking player. Go ahead and bet the turn. But what, this guy couldn't really have any draws, right? Probably just got an ace time here. I can't think of anything calling the flop and then betting the river. It's not. Once again, he could have a gut shot with like 3-5 or something. We'll raise ace. I kind of want to just call this. Very bluffy. But the problem is there's not that many bluffs. I mean, gonna have 3-5 or here that often. Play it this way. I mean, when you count a lot more combinations, I could definitely see him value betting it. I think if he has a jack, he just tries it. Kind of narrows his range a little bit, but I'd prefer there be like a flush draw or some open enders on the flop thing. Stable because this guy's an obvious. No, he's to my left. I prefer to play him heads up, but actually got some money back after we. Last hand. So then 3-bet me would could read it. And then small blind 4-bet with ace jack offsuit. That's a good read to have. And then I guess maybe the money went in. This guy spiked a deuce. It was a flip. Of free. Called pre-flop. Calls a bet. Calls a shove on that board. Wow, it was an ace queen board. And then it is 2 outer with 1 street to go. Guys might be on tilt, but I'm not gonna play. Probably not in a mood to fold for me to shove. So even if I had like now ace 10, I think I could just shove that for value. I just have to bet for value here. Certainly still have the best hand. He could certainly have a hand like 7s or 6s, 5s, something like that. And some ace highs that picked up a flush draw. Or what he would be leading with here. Call lead. Nuts, or maybe he has pocket 4s. That would make sense. Yeah, this guy is he takes this line, I think that's the turn. Yeah, it's just like, what is he repping here? Why is it folding me? Do I not have a time bank? Thought about calling there. It's just, he's been so passive over his first 9 hands. That's like the first time he's bet, so. Kind of worried about just running into 8. Like, now he's going for value on the river. So, or like pocket 4s would make. He knows I'm not folding a king, and that's what I most likely have there a lot of the time. Kind of a crazy bet if he doesn't have a 8. I just got to go with the read flop so far. But I think against this type of player, it's better to bet side rivers than try and do some crazy check back rate. If you were more aggressive, I could definitely bet, trying and do that way. Guy posts and raises. I would have a pretty wide squeezing range spot. Fortunately, crap hand. Ace deuce suited, I probably shove there because it's so fishy when this guy post raises. Even though he hasn't been raising that often, stealing that often. You gotta figure he has a random hand, right? A 17. Oh man, I think even 13 big blinds I can fold. 6s plus I would definitely shove here. I mean, that's plus EV. Guy's range. Figure he's got like a 10 or 4. Not folding anything, so I think I'm just basically accepting 41% equity. Not even in the blinds with it. So it's basically I'm just like I'm losing. I'm just choosing to lose it. Basically lose money when I shove it. But a lot of cases for a bad time. This is a better table. We have our aggros on our right, passive players on our left, tighter players. Even though this is a reg heavy table, we still like the dynamic. Not the worst. Much better to have fish on your table, but if you're gonna have a reg table, have it be this way. That way you can shove wide here and get our steals. Standard reg. If that was more aggro, we could 7-7 over. I think a small bet good here. Has a hand like there. Probably flops. I think I like a bet equity overs. And you can certainly float the flop with like king jack, ace 10. Check back for showdown value at some point around the river. I don't see any version of us folding in that spot though. have, I mean, unless he's got ace queen, which I think might 3-bet against my stack size there, right? I can definitely see him making it like $5 there. To give him some room to fold if he gets board for. So I kind of think we have the nut overcards there a lot of the time. Really only worried about like a pocket pair, and I think any of his pocket pairs, unless it's like quads, raise that flop and protect its hand. But once we bet the flop, he's kind of just got king high, right? Or worse ace. Most likely like a queen jack, just overcards, whatever that is. Right? Floating one straight, like it, and turns. I mean, I guess if you think that way, you could argument for checking, but I think he's going to check back some turns. Don't want to give kind of have showdown value with ace high. Don't really want to. I guess technically we could probably profitably check shove that turn against some players, but I don't. At 13-6. I think when he bets the turn, he just has it, right? Had nines that he wait and see one. This guy's tight enough I can open it. Maybe proven wrong here, but we'll try. It's 13-0 over 8 hands. Certain flat here, but big flat ace betting. Backdoor flush draw. Certainly have worse overcards than us. I think this is a really bad board. He may just give up. May just be betting and one and dunning this. Call. Checks back. Will probably barrels. I guess he could be kind of fancy repping of the queen, whatever. But this is a really just going to get check raised so often on turns or flops on the board that I think value hand, especially being 13. I think I like the way we play. I think if he was any wider, we could have shoved up, right? Height. I think it's still plus EV to call, but not to fit or fold, obviously. Flop, backdoor flush draw, and an over. I think when we turn the flush draw, I think we can check shove. I think he folds like 6x, pocket 7. Other hand, I think we just have to give up on this river. Unless we can get him off 5, which I don't think he folds anything on this river. He'll probably call me with bet for value and a way with a guy's egg. We're gonna bet on the kind of the middle of the roads, kind of disguise doing this as a bluff. Could be doing value. I gotta fold that hand. Like our give up there. This guy certainly has bluffs in his range. I like the fact that we have a spade. I think we don't want to blow him off his bluffs by shoving here. Maybe we want to call. Let him bluff the rest off. And if he has a speed, he has a speed. We're not folding top pair. Against what looks like might be a fairly aggro. Oh, wow. So he has crushed. Then he got even better on the turn. That's fine. Domination is not really something you have to worry about that often. It doesn't happen as often as you think it does. He could just as easily and with his range have king 10, king 9. So if domination happens, I'm probably going to get the better of it because ace king he 3-bets. So really the only hand that's dominating us, beating us, that's dominating us there is exactly king queen. There's more combination of king x there. That we're dominating him than he's dominating us and getting the money. That makes sense. So even though we lost that particular pot, it's a super winning spot overall. And obviously he'll have more hands in his range. He'll have 8-9, and when that whiffs, he just shoves, and we have like 75 equity. Well, more than that, but he has outs, so no spades in the turn. He has 8 outs, like less than 20%. Sometimes he'll just have a flush draw, and we have one of his outs if that's the case. Fine. Wow, liking the gut shot. Pretty awesome because that's the yeah, 0-0 over, well, 2 hands. We're still gonna open any two. Of course, that didn't work out this time, but when a guy's 0-0, I don't care how many hands go, we're still gonna open. It can't be that bad, right? Not blind versus an unknown where he doesn't know anything about us either. Certainly open. We're gonna do some more aggressive stuff, especially in reg heavy. A little more fish heavy, we could tighten up and try to. Only having 20 big blinds, we're never getting away. Even though this guy's tight, I expect he's gonna have a strong range, but we just, I mean, want to look at his range. We have ace king. That's a shove. I don't want to. We'll do it after the hand. Gonna have a pretty strong range. We're probably, wow, who's free rolling? He's okay. That is really weird. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Ace kings. Oh, we're probably only 40% equity against his overall range there, but when we're in the blind, big blind, guy's got dead money in there, and he could sometimes have like ace. A lot of times we're flipping. I think it's okay just to put. That was pretty funny though. I like that. That's kind of a good. I kind of like that scenario because stacked, right? Yeah. Value on. Or there's certainly fade hand call. So this guy 3-bet us the first hand. Doesn't he bet a lot of aces? So when he raises here, it's got to be a lot of just one spade in his hand. Be able to just call it off here. I think we just call down. I think he's just going to have a king of spades here a lot. If he has an ace, I mean, more power to him. But I think this type of player just 3-bets an ace. Wow. Weird. Okay, well. I still like my play there. I still think he's just going to have like the king. But I totally doubt he has a flush already. Most people slow play. That was maybe a little bit heroish, but I kind of had to read this guy was pretty aggressive. So blind versus blind, I'm fine with it. I think a lot of times he's just going to have like king deuces with a king of spades. Kind of running into top of ranges again this month. Not my favorite thing to do, but deuce. I think we actually just barrel off in this spot. He's not gonna have that many flush draws because people raise flush draws blind versus. I think he's gonna have like a 5 raises, huh? This guy's one. He hasn't 3-bet yet. Wow, I can't holding in this spot. This is small blind versus cutoff. Close. I think in a vacuum you're gonna get 3-bet almost enough to always shove this. Buttons certainly, but this guy's 31.23. I actually have a pretty good price just to flat here. Only made it $5. Might be able to just play flop here. he makes it 7, we have to shove our full. 5, we can call. So I think this is a good spot to float. A lot of hands in his 3-bet range will be like 10s. Jacks, ace, jack, ace, queen. The only thing we're really worried about is aces, king. It's hard for him to have kings, so aces, ace, king. I think he just check folds a lot of turns. That's not the best turn because I think he'll now call it off with like 10 X. I think we just ran into. I mean, this is a really terrible turn card for him. So he's just probably got a lot of the time. If he does or he has aces or we just saved ourselves our stack by not shoving. I think he check folds that turn. Just check, at least checks that turn with jacks or queen. Queens it's hard for him to have because we're kind of getting pwned in a lot of these spots. And you know, these are spots we would have avoided last month by just being our normal passive self, but I think we just have to play positions. I mean, I think we just have to play the hands for what we think is plus EV, right? I think every spot that I've played has been maybe not super plus EV and maybe marginal, but still plus EV. Continue to do that. Not going to be passive. Looks like we just ran into the top of ranges a lot so far this session, so I'm not going to read anything into that, right? Especially when a player's like 36-29. Now he has more hands. And it is that ace. Probably opening my window would be better. I don't know if I can get it open. Oh no, it's locked. Who did that? The hell, was Spider-Man gonna come get my window here? Oh. Gotta be better than. I don't think I have enough of a read at 3. I know this guy's just out here. King 3 suited, I probably could. Ace 10. I raised poster. Aggro. We're way ahead of his works. Don't give him a chop. Hey, we hit her. It was a chop if that. This guy's too. Raise the ducks. Try and replace. Happens. Guy doesn't go broke this. Guy's gonna love or hate it. I thought we could profitably. If we had ace high. Calling station. We still could have the best. I guess he flopped a flush or has. Pull in. Better. Have enough of. Or suit. I think we probably need something. Backdoor. Flush draw, backdoor. That river. Everything just got there. Gotta run out. Boom. Like a 5 river. High card. Profitably. Once again, people like to raise. We will be shoving if this. Up here. Definitely call. Wow. Have the nuts. Back here. That's like. I think we just have to bet. Not gonna do it. 5-4. We bet fold the turn. Bet fold. It'd be hard for worse to. Too many bad cards. Action. I'd rather get bluff raised. Top pair. Table looks much. I was a little lucky to win. Whatever. Kind of running bad this session. At least we're being aggressive and running bad and not being passive knit and running bad. Kind of gonna take some getting used to making a conscious take every plus EV line. There's plenty of hands this guy could put in. Plays a lot easier. Plenty of like 9x, 10 heart draw. Bet fold. I just think it plays. Make him come. This guy's stealing 100. 8. Guessing he's probably got to steal. Probably need 8. I don't know. This is close when we only. But it's close. I'm gonna go. Hopefully, they're not running at the top of range again. Got there. 9-10. That looks kind of. If it was a queen or a jack on the river. Not gonna fold it back. I mean, I'm trying to think of a hand that I can off of. Chopping with 9. Probably bluffs though. Yeah, so we had. If I knew he had that hand, obviously. That. Never like bluffing. Gonna call us with a queen a lot. Pocket sevens, but I think he like eyes that he might. Not necessarily because I mean everything gets there. I'll look for a better. If it was an 8 river, I'd probably check for one that doesn't complete. I'd bet. I keep having to build pots up to give up. I don't. I guess I could turn my hand into a bluff there. Back some. Again, this guy. I have no confidence that. However, players like that will still bluff. This guy has like at least 5. 4s are okay because I'm marginal, but I don't really want to flat with it. I don't really have the right place. It's much better. It's either a shove or a fold. What am I hoping for? Basically, trying. That opens the. I think he's such a wild image. And I'm 48, 41. Still, I'm a 3-bet that much, but he might just see. See what I mean? I don't have to do it. Up. These are spots that I was missing last month. I wasn't taking those. That's like a huge LCV spot with dynamic. I look at how I'm 91. I don't think this guy's gonna let me open this because I know he's. Ugh, same reason, dynamic like it is, probably on tilt. I don't want him. I mean, I don't want him. I mean, betting me wide. It's a terrible hand to have these 3. Although, I'm going to have the right price to call a lot of his 3. I don't think about 100. However, 10s, I probably can. Let's run good and hit a 10. Once he calls on a jack peel. This guy is just so tight. There's just way, his range is like chock full. Now if he has king, probably not. If it was this guy, I would bet. Okay. This guy just has. Oh. I'm getting the worst price. Queens potentially isn't out. Hearts F8, 10, probably 12 clean outs. So to get there, I'm probably gonna win this hand 5%. 7 in there before I bet, so there's 10 in there plus his over mine plus so basically getting 1.3 to 1. Is this actually? So I'm calling 12 to. I don't know what. I don't think I had the right. Could be wrong. If he's ever bluffing there, I would have the right price, but I don't. I guess he could just have. But I think he would raise the flop. I think it's probably. Possibly if it was a call, it's like an E. Not like a huge. Alternatively, I could have check shoved that turn. Actually, that might be. So queens. And another thing you'll find that obviously you already take a more aggressive style of play. Being 45, 40, 90%, well, it's going to get hands like this paid off more. Not really in this spot because I just set, but if I was like 50, 45, that would call me. It's all the ace 3. So it's kind of a Shania thing. If you guys are from that term. Well, and I think I was losing a lot. I wasn't getting paid off on my. I wasn't building image. I really like having the crazy loot. Oh, so 850 out there of 3 behind. I know this guy's doing it wide, but I'm more worried about this. Of course, he could have a fairly wide flat. This is the right kind of hand. I think I would prefer to shove this in the. But I think that was a pretty lot if I were in the. More worried about this guy. Worst case scenario, I've got like 30. Kind of makes that a really awesome spot to shove. But I think the small blind slightly might. Really plus EV. Just that one position, I think. If I was at 20 big blinds, I think I would have shoved it. I think 33. Certainly not a flat. I lead. A lot of times this will just be a draw or like an 8. Like an over. Certainly there's a lot of good cards for me, like 7 comp. I can just float. I just have to bet and shove myself enough. I'm certainly committed now. But I'm certainly not just going to. This kind of hand, I'm not going to let. That's once again another spot that I would have folded last. Pussy. Lack of a better term. Folded. Table. Give it a couple more. I'm going to go ahead and do this. This one is. If he like limps. I'm going to tentatively get off this table. Maybe more games running now. Generally around this time, more games populating. Table's obviously awesome. Try for another pops up. If not, we can try and get rid. It's not like I haven't really got what I want. New tables tend to be pretty fishy. As a short, I'm in position on it. Definitely gonna try and look for more tables like this. I excel. 3-4 hand. And in a vacuum, I'm guessing this seat would. I'm gonna go ahead and stay here because this possible maniac. I might be. We're gonna call it suited. Like we're shaping up to. Yeah, we would shove a lot worse than here. This guy, he bets I'm still gonna. All right, we got a spot. I'm gonna split the party. Shoving mine. Everybody folds. It's fine. If they don't fold, we got a lot of dead money. Hopefully, sevens. The only guy I'm really worried about is this guy. He opened. Kind of tank. But there's so much dead money, it doesn't really happens to show up with this. I guess his overall range, I'm rushing that dead. He has big hand. It's just guy has that sucks. Whatever. So I just got a little unlucky. On to the next. Oh, I guess we spiked a set there. Did we just a little bit of run good? That's just really unfortunate. Could have just as easy open shove the 9. It's I'm not gonna call. So what did this guy show up with Queen Jack? See how profitable that spot is? Most of the time he's just gonna call with Queen Jack, everybody else folds. In fact, he overshoved. In fact, this is probably a fold for this, unless he just has a read. That should have been a fold with a 10. Yeah, I should have been heads up with Queen Jack. I mean, this guy doesn't know he's supposed to fold 10s. Maybe he just had like an awesome read. I think I have to put this in. This guy is. I'm guessing he has like a. I guess he has. %4 dead money. I think with 44%. And the fact that he could fold like ace 4 here, not necessary. It's not ever gonna happen like 10. That's something. See, we get it in with the best hand. Unfortunately, he likes his straight. So about that, but what I mean, or since wide range, properly. So if we're gonna lose an all in, let it be. And right, let's win the one when we have like $33. Perfectly fine with that. We're gonna bet fold this room. Wow. Oh. We don't normally. We shove. I'm gonna 3-bet this, and we're gonna start doing more of this. I think it's plus EV to do this, but not to shove. Just a pretty easy fold if you shove. Right? This looks like massively. I mean, he's 0-0 over 3 hands. Don't buy into that. He has a standard 14%. So, I mean, he's going to have Jack 10. Jack, which he might flat with, you know, as we're dominating. But really, the only thing he's shoving is crushing it. Might even flat, like, old flops. Just really unfortunate that we are running into the top of ranges again. Kind of crazy. Yeah. Most of the time, he's just flat. It looks, I mean, when I do that as that stack size, it just looks like ace. When it looks like that, what the hell, man? He's got to have like aces, ace king. Word. Not really the best spot to barrel. Definitely rep. I think we make calls with a jack one folds. Fold some eight. And we have equity. So I like a bet. He's not leading the turn, he probably doesn't. Heck or an ace. Probably pro bet a lot of the time. I guess that was a fit. I stayed on this table one more revolution. But probably go ahead and this guy, even though this hand doesn't flop that well. I want to play pots even out. We have a pretty good image here. It's not really calling light, but deuce. Right. This guy's kind of stationy. Definitely rep. So he's kind of stationary. He's not gonna fold a 10, but I think he's gonna probe some rivers with it. Raise. Try and find a better. Let's open up a new table to see if there's. Now we'll come right back. We're just gonna commit up here. Really. See if this table populates. I like the fact that this. He has queen jack or a king. I mean, he's getting off. We're getting him off a 10 probably. I just want to get odds or definitely want to build a pot against the. I think this was. We ended up getting that. No harm, no foul. We still like to possibly. Got to be a little bit greedy when it comes to table selection. Give it a minute. Populate. And this guy might reveal himself not to be. That's the case. Well, as long as fish sit to our right, we don't care. But wow, flopping good on. Or we just have on somebody a 10 and just. You gotta try and build a pot though. That wasn't the worst table, so it wouldn't be the end of the world if we got that table. Is this? Looks like it. This table's looking shitty. This guy left. He was this one up though. I don't think there's that many games. We've been running actually an hour and a half. No, I've been trying. Oh, last month I was keeping. This month I figure if I'm playing, I'll be streaming, right? So I may be streaming some at night. I think it helps me think through hands better to be. Kind of keeps me from doing too much autopiloting. 18 big. We're gonna get snapped off by pairs, but we'll also get called by like king. Oh, okay. So trapping us there. Okay, it's a flip. This is vacuum. I don't think we're gonna flat though. I think we can probably be 3-bet, but I don't. I'm gonna stop flatting with pairs unless it's just like we're getting price because I looked at my database and I'm losing when flatting pairs. I know I didn't hit many sets last month. I don't want to play. It's so hard to turn a profit with that. I'm gonna sit back at short stack, short stack. Oh, I probably. Oh, we'll see if we can get a better table. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about. I think I'm just gonna use the policy if I'm playing, I'm straight. Although we will have the best. I think it's just too hard not to. I don't like the dynamic. Lead with our. Could be a barrel off spot. It's probably just hard to get. Or I think this is just like probably just here. Guess we could bet fold. But I think it's just likely this guy's bluffing. Have the best. At least we got another street. I mean, it would be pretty advanced for me to try and get him off an 8. I just don't think the level. Even if I shove. Big blind. Yeah, getting back to what I was saying, I definitely try and stream all of my quiet at night. Like balls and don't. So they do. Wow. A gut shot straight flush. And I don't know. Bet big on ball by some high. Bet. I'll check back with the king of hearts and raise. I was gonna. It'd be hard for him to. Just a little way ahead, way behind spot here. This is one good thing about checking this. It's never gonna look like we have it. Hopefully somebody slow played an 8. I'll just with like some. Hard for us to have a king back. Now it has an 8. I think it'll call this. I'm gonna overbet the like a busted draw. Awesome. So I'm guessing he had an 8. Likely. Wow. That's awesome. He called me with a 10. Pocket 10. Another hand out. That rocks, right? That check on the flop got us a ton more value there. Really like the polarized bet on. Maddie, you get it? I'm outside the door. Some weird Star Trek. 10's pretty good voice. I don't think you fire and all that. Phone has been blowing up since like a good spot before. These guys will call a lot, but I do have a hand. I realize this guy's 20. Not the worst still, but I probably would. Gotta be patient. Some people on my phone. Way. Oh, that was probably the Alright, he's coming tomorrow. Have AC again. He knows exactly what it is just by grabbing a simple little thing. Problem, it sounds right because we had a similar problem a couple years ago. Our AC units are as old as this house, which is about 16 years old. So we're kind of on borrowed time right now. So we're just trying to hold off to replace those damn things. There's no way we want to drop 8 grand right now, whatever it costs. We're just hoping those damn things last. I don't want to suck up all my poker money, right? So sorry about that. Yeah, emergencies happen. I think it's better just to cut off the stream. So flip another first. We can get rid of this shitty table. This one might be okay. This one looks better. I don't even know if I ever completed the thought because the damn phone keeps blowing up. It wasn't just him that called, it was other people. So I'm not 100% on it, but I think when I play at night I'll stream. Well, I might just kids are sleeping. But I think you guys, some of you guys might want to watch more sometime at night. So option. I guess I'll turn it into an episode as well. Might have a lot more YouTube episodes. I guess it's better to have too many than not enough. Don't want to watch them, you don't have to. Maybe watch a couple a week. Or just turn it on long enough just to balance, you know, or whatever you want. Because I am going to start showing the balance at it every stage. That's pretty aggressive. I think a lot of time he's just going to have a jack here. I'm going to have also king 10, but I have a blocker against that. I think I'd rather check back and get value from jacks on the river rather than try to get him off. Because I think I'm getting 2 streets versus that hand. I'm pretty sure he's going to call with a jack. I think that line is pretty spot when we have blockers against the draws. If we don't have blockers against the draws, I think we could bet, shove. Draws all miss. Check back if they seem to. So he did have a jack. He had jack deuce. Awesome. After 5 now, I usually like to end by 5, so I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream short. I got a little bit of a late start today. My wife was out, but I'm not really on some time crunch to try and get a whole ton of hours this month. I think a couple quality or an hour and a half quality is better than trying to go for just a bunch of hours just for the sake of a bunch of hours. Now, if I'm ever get to the point where this is my job, right? This is my sole income. I'll obviously be more rested for it. And I'll be able to put in more quality hours that way. But as is, we're gonna just try for quality going forward. That's kind of what we did in the first part of this challenge anyway, and we look at our win rate, what it was. Feels good to get back to that. The time flies. I think you guys enjoy the stream more when I'm talking through more of a deep fashion rather than just not talking much and autopiloting and watching whatever. Reading the news while I stream, you know, that's not really fair to you guys. And maybe I was a little burned out last month, and I just kind of needed that for a month. But I think I have to be disciplined and not do that. Hot in here, my friend. Gotta get downstairs where they're working. I obviously don't want to play where I'm starting to sweat like a freaking pig here. Once again, I just want to thank the guys that have stuck with me since the beginning. Followed along. Some of you guys seem to watch every day and started with our $25. We appreciate that. Feel free to add me as a friend if you want. You can also, I don't mind if you guys add me email me whenever you want, ask questions or advice, anything you want to see to make the stream better, please. I want to grow the stream. I know I haven't been the best. What's the word? I don't even know what the word. I'm very bad with words sometimes, so maybe Ed, you know who you are out there, Ed, you could help me out with the correct word. What's the word when you're? I can't even describe what I'm trying to say. It's the word. Trying to. Oh well, I give up. Maybe you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm not working hard enough on providing a good quality stream. I think it's much better to have, rather than just just going for a ton of volume and burning out. It's much better to have quality. I mean, I think it'll show up in the poker results as well. It should, right? I do think I made a few errors today, or could have played some hands better, but I think after the first 15 or 20 minutes, I think we kind of got in the groove. See if we're up or not. See, we're up $115 for this session. We kind of ran into the top of ranges quite a bit. So we just got over 4,000. So I guess technically we are up about 700 for the month. So that's even better. So this is the first time we've been over 4,000 this month, right? So even though it's been kind of a long time coming, we were at 3860 or something briefly a couple months ago when we spiked that tournament win. So we're gonna keep playing smart. We're gonna stick to. I think we're gonna be just bankroll nits, or why not? I mean, we can still play good quality poker, have a decent hourly rate. It's enough money that it keeps us interested, but not enough that we're gonna have like devastating downswing. Like if I was at 400 an L and I had ran as bad as I did the early part of last month, I would have dropped $2,000, right? Not that I would ever let myself drop $2,000 before I move back down, but so if you can drop $700 or $800 at 100 an L, which I know is only 7 or 8 full buy-ins, I think it's much better to lose $2,000 when you start at 6 than start at 4. Feels more gross to lose that large of a percentage. I think we might just go for 100 big blinds and going forward. I mean, I'm in this for the long haul, right? I'm not going to stop streaming just because I hit $10,000. So I think slow and steady kind of wins the race, and maybe we learned our lesson. I mean, obviously, if we had ran good at 400 an L, ran at EV, would be at like 10,000 bankroll, right? But that didn't happen. And at the same token, if we had just played for the 50 buy-in rule or whatever, I mean, obviously we're not going to do that when we only have $100 in our. We're going to take aggressive shots, right? But I think once you get to the point where you're a reasonably large amount of money you're playing for me it is. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but $4,000 is a lot of money for me. I'm not some wealthy entrepreneur that has just millions sitting in the bank, right? I work for a living. I'm comfortable, but I do work for a living. So, I know, and I'm also a little bit older, right? I'm 43 years old. So I'm a little more responsible with money. If I was 20 years old, 21 years old, and 25 years old and did family, and losing this 4,000 would be no big deal because I can make a living off working at McDonald's, right? I would just go crazy. I would be using the 15-10 buy-in rule and just reloading and just trying over and over again. But no, I'm a little more responsible now. I think slow and steady wins the race. Hit $6,000, we'll go up to 200 an L. Probably that'll take us all the way, and it'll happen fairly quickly. We're still going to get there this year, right? Assuming we don't just have run bad after run bad. So my goal was if we could hit 10,000 this year sometime, that would be good. And then next year we'll move on from there. We'll try to get to 400 and become a reg there. 600 NL. Of course, if the games dry up and aren't good enough to play, they actually seem pretty decent today, right? I was kind of worried. Games look pretty crappy all last month. But I think if we table select and are careful, I know I'm kind of babbling here. So we're gonna get there. I'm gonna repost the graph so you guys can see. I think I'll just do the full graph instead of just a month by month graph. I'll update my balance. Go from there. Last, let me make sure there's no comments that I. Oh, Lambo says you started with 25 bucks. Did you just grind nonstop? Lambo, it's been a slow process. I started in late November. Basically, I played 2 sessions in November. Basically, December, early December, I started this with $25. I went to my car and I dug change out of the pouch. If you look back, go to YouTube, Automatic Poker, and look back, you'll see Spare Change Challenge. And in fact, I think my intro video has the two spare change. And I kind of was, I don't remember the exact mindset I was in back then, but I kind of wanted a challenge, and I wanted something that would be interesting to stream, a good story to build, you know. And also, well, okay, the main reason I wanted to do it was just to prove that it could be done nowadays. You could take a small amount of money and run it up, because a lot of people think it's the good old days, the dream is over, right? I don't think it is. So I went out to my car and I dug the change out of the center console, which had built up over a couple months, and I got the car, just a spare change around the house. It was in a jar. I think there had been some change in there for years that we had never touched, and it added up to about $25. In fact, it was $25.66. So I put that on ignition, and we started at 5 and L, and we just used basically the 20 buy-in rule for the first two or three stakes, and I mean, you could see it from the beginning. Go back to episode 1. And you can watch every episode all the way through and just watch the bankroll come up. We did bank a tournament at one point, which I did not stream, although I did stream a review, or I did record a video review of it, but I didn't stream the actual video. Actually, it was sick. Hardly talk, or else I would have streamed the final table at least. I should have at least recorded it. Oh well. I mean, whatever. So I banked that tournament for 1,700, and that got us to around 3,800 in March. But that was on like the 10th of March or something. And we had just a terrible downswing. We took a shot at 400 in L and ran like 1,500 under EV. Or actually it was worse than that. I don't remember exactly. But anyways, we dumped down to like 1,650. We basically spent all of April rebuilding. We got to 3,300. And then this month we're now 4,000 in a month. Played a lot of hands this month. So yeah, we're gonna just slow and steady wins the race this thing. My hourly rate, they would have to look. Not that great really. What's that? We had that big down. Now, that doesn't include the big bank, right? This is just cash game. Wow, we're at 90 filters out right before I show you. So long term, it's actually only about $5 an hour so far. Obviously that includes a huge downswing. And this is only, it's less than 100,000 hands. Ladder reports. See the graph. See the gap. So EV wise, we're slightly better at. B is 5,100. I'd have to do the math here. 13. 4 plus something like that. We played 326 hours. 5,100. What did I say? 326. So our EV hourly is 1,550 so far. Obviously, it's gotten worse as we went along because we did play 5 and L for a while, then 10 and L, then 25 and L. So you know we had like $1 an hour win rate probably to start. So yeah, and the bank though in the tournament, is how we're sitting. Some hands have been lost over time, so I'm not even sure this is accurate. Yeah, I've noticed when I convert hands, some hands are corrupted. And we've won more than that, so we were actually up. That's not the only thing we've won. So. But I mean, if you just look at my cash game in that one tournament, that puts. But we won about $600 or $700 more. Goes and it'll let me. Okay, so yeah, you can see I've won 20, almost 2,200 tournaments as well. It's tournament 2,200 plus the 2,200 plus the cash games plus a. So I mean, we're at 4,000 bankroll plus the 25. So there's some hands missing. So I don't know where that $100 has been lost somewhere along the way. But that's just going to happen. I mean, every time I upload hands, there's like 5 or 6 errors. So it doesn't take much. I mean, you'd miss one all-in hand and oh, hey, Max Stacks. Yeah, I am just finishing up. I was just doing a review of the month. I'm going to post this on YouTube if you want to watch. I do a little review at the beginning, and then at the end I did a little review as well. And we had a really interesting session. A lot of good spots came up. We were up about, well, I won't tell you. You can watch it for yourself. But we're ending the month at 4,015. About 700 up for the month. About half of what I would expect to have based on my normal win rate at 100 NL, but we started the month with a $700 downswing. I could show you the graph for this month and you can see it. Yeah, so see we were down over 600 for in the month. Good news is we ran over EV, right? So I kind of made up for it. But the one thing I want to show you is this. I want to try and work on this. We were down over 2,000 in non-showdown earnings. Not a big deal, but I would like it, much more like it to be down 1,000 or 500 or something. I think I'm missing some thin value spots. I think I'm checking back when I should be betting. I'm thinking I'm not stealing enough, and I think that's all adding up to this beat. I mean, the red line isn't a huge deal, but it's the green line that matters. But I think it's a lot easier to have a good green line when you have a decent. I always feel like I play my best when I break even with my red line. Usually when I am dumping a lot in red line, it's because I'm autopiloting. So that's just watch the video. I talk quite extensively about this. We're going to try and work on that this month. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end the session. If anybody has any questions, just think about it and ask me next time or email me or whatever. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the week. We're going to do the normal stream tomorrow if I can. I'm trying to think. The AC guy's coming about 1. He should be wrapped up by the time 3 o'clock rolls around. If not, I'll find time to do some kind of stream tomorrow. And I probably won't play tonight because I think I'm working tomorrow, but I'll probably stream Thursday night. I'm going to start streaming all my sessions, and sometimes we'll do something special on a stream at night. Maybe we'll play a tournament. I need to use up these poker points at some point. I think I might just use them up on a tournament shot. It's like $90 worth of poker points there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So you guys let me know what you want me to do. If you want me to play sit and goes, I'll use it up in sit and goes. I can play triple ups. If you want me to take a tournament shot, I can do that as well. $90 will go a long way toward a tournament shot. I mean, we could play some $10. I mean, the one that I won was $10 buy-in tournament. We could play 9 of those. I don't like to play tournaments too often because it just keeps me up too late. I probably won't do it this weekend because I have my daughter, my youngest daughter by herself. The other 2 are off on a Girl Scout trip. So I but one weekend I will. If you guys want to see that, I mean, tournaments are a lot of fun. I actually am a much better tournament player, I think, than I am cash game player. It's such a time sink that I just don't have time for it. But if I was a full-time pro, I probably would play cash games in the day and then play tournaments at night. And kind of just do like a third shift type schedule. So, yeah. But we're going to go ahead and end this. We almost ended up with 2 hours anyway, right? So thanks for watching, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week, and we will talk to you later. Thanks again.